Hackers are getting more and more sophisticated each and every year. And if you're not careful, they're going to give you a miserable time on the internet. Are you doing everything you can to protect yourself online? NordVPN software allows me to safely browse the internet without being traced. NordVPN is now more than just a VPN provider. They have introduced threat protection, giving you even more comprehensive security against cyber threats. It blocks trackers, it stops malicious ads, and it steers you away from harmful websites and files. Enjoy a safer and more private internet. NordVPN will continue to hide your location, encrypt your data, and one account you sign up for can secure 6 devices. You can sign up to NordVPN now risk-free on a 2-year plan plus 4 months free. Just go to nordvpn.com/football terrace and give yourself real peace of mind when online. What we can even do is give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So get yourself signed up now and enjoy the rest of the NordVPN Top 6 show. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. This is the NordVPN Top 6 show. We're live at Unit 7 tonight. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Sorry, we're a little bit late. We were just waiting for Have Hope to arrive. And I'm going to introduce you to my brilliant panel tonight. To my left, we're joined by Jessica Black and Have Hope. How are you both doing? You good?
Good.
100%. No, but Terry, I've got to say, man, NordVPN, thank you. Thank you. I use it. HBO Max, man. Wow. My life has changed.
And it's cheaper as well than doing it.
Bro, I think life-changing, man. Life-changing. So from Have Hope, NordVPN, HH seal of approval, man. Terry, man. Terrence, thank you, bro.
Not a problem. And you guys, make sure you're downloading it as well. Scan that QR code in the bottom corner or click on the link in the description. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Some great money-saving tips with it as well as protecting your data, making sure you're not getting hacked and all that jazz. To my right tonight, joined by the man of the moment, Neeks, and of course, JJ, the Liverpool fan. You've obviously seen JJ many times on the show. And let me just say, ladies, he is as good looking in the flesh as he looks on camera. He really is. And Neeks as well. There we go. How you doing, boys?
JJ, you said life-changing, but you're still working on Nigerian time. What time do you call this, man?
No. This is future time, man.
Oh.
I'm keeping you guys on your feet. I always keep you guys on your feet.
My bad.
So, there you go, Thinking ahead.
There we go. We've got lots to delve into tonight as well. Loads to talk about. Manchester United going to Chelsea. We're talking Arsenal. Can they win the league? We've got to do a top 4 debate after 2 TalkSport presenters in the last week or so literally predicted that Arsenal won't make the top 4. We're going to be having a look at the Ronaldo situation as well and asking the question, was it right? Was it right to sack Steven Gerrard after 1 year in charge? All that on the show tonight. And we're going to do some sections as well, just for your super chats. In terms of you, the viewers, I actually need to go to my live updater actually here because I didn't have it in front of me. Bear with me for a moment. Amateur hour for me, not having this ready on my screen. Who do they vote for? What's the first talking point we're jumping into? I thought it was a top 4 debate when I looked earlier, and it is the top 4 debate is what the viewers want to discuss. So let me throw the question out there why we're talking about it. I want to go to Jess first on this. People are still doubting Arsenal. Why?
I think this is coming more from hope than actual analysis. I think people are still hoping that we won't make it, but I think we will make top 4. I think the conversation is really whether Arsenal are actually in a title race. But in terms of top 4, I don't know why you would look at Arsenal and say, we can't do it. We barely missed out on it 2 points last season. So why would we not make it if we've gotten better, clearly? So it's weird to me, but I kind of expect this, that people won't believe it until they see it, which is kind of the reality is like we haven't proved it yet, but I know we're going to make the top 4, so I'm not really tripping.
No, look, for me, as much as I want to clown Arsenal and so forth, they're making top 4. Like, bare minimum, they're making top 4 because, like, you have to give Light Bulb his due. Because what Light Bulb did from last year and then this year, I think it's a huge improvement, man. And it's like, as much as I want to doubt Light Bulb and his tactics, I feel that Arsenal are playing the best football right now. They should have beaten Man United. So Birmingham, it's top 4. And for me,
Relax, man.
Look, let's just no, Uncle Nick. Let's be real here. Everybody is playing for second place. That's what it is. City have already won the league with their freaking Norwegian
You sure about that?
James Bond.
You sure about
No,
that?
they won the league ages ago. No, it's
Whoa,
done.
I feel like you can't say that.
It's a battle for second. It's a battle for silver place.
I don't know about that. You know, Arsenal. You said Arsenal are winning every game. They've won every game in every competition other than Manchester United.
Next, don't stop. Arsenal are not in it. They're not coming.
Why
to
not?
City.
Why not? They're 4 points. 4 points. No, you're 4 points ahead of City, isn't it? Yeah, 4 points ahead of City. 4 points ahead of Spurs.
This is a marathon, not a sprint. We're still like, if this is like 100-meter race, we're still like freaking 10 meters away. So let's see where they are in January or February. But for me, I go via past evidence, which is at City 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. You know, so and they've done 4 out of 5 without this freak of nature, this freaking Norwegian dude who's scoring in every single game.
Where was he at Anfield?
Wasn't at Anfield.
Did he get dropped? Was he injured?
Gomez managed to revive his career somehow.
No, don't start talking about Liverpool, man, because you guys.
But it's true. In regards to Haaland, it's true. What we've seen with City is that they've become so reliant on Haaland that their actual game, they're not playing the best football at the moment. They're scoring a lot of goals, and Haaland's incredible.
So you're honestly telling me that City may not win the league this year? That's
City, of course they may not win the league. Do you know what I mean?
Come
of
on,
course
bro.
they may not win.
Remember last season?
What won the terrace?
Remember last season? Liverpool were 13 points behind, 14 points behind. I think they had a game in hand or two, but they were 14 points behind City. Everyone said league's done. In the end, it was 1 point.
And
So-
they lost.
They lost, I get it,
Yes.
but it's not Liverpool weren't fighting for second. Liverpool were fighting for first.
But I had that all of last year. People kept on saying to me, you were wrong to predict that Liverpool would catch City. I was wrong by a point. Wrong by a point. I am annoyed. When we were meant to be talking top 4, I was wrong. But by a point, right? It wasn't as
You're
if
not wrong to predict it, but your prediction was wrong.
But I said they could catch them.
Yeah.
But to be wrong by a point isn't the same as City winning it by 20 points. It's kind of what I'm saying, right? That's my view. But in terms of the top 4, I've seen people put Spurs, Chelsea, and Liverpool ahead of Arsenal. That can't be right.
No, that's no for me. Look, see, let's be real. Right now, the biggest craze right now is Potterball, because Potterball is the new craze. Right?
Ain't nobody talking about Potterball.
If you go to TikTok,
Hogwarts.
Instagram,
TikTok.
that is the number one trend right now.
Durmstrang.
Type in Potterball, and that is what everyone is saying right
Order
now.
the Phoenix,
do it right now.
maybe.
So Chelsea are but let's be real. I don't want to get so hyped. I'm going to say if Arsenal, they look good right now. Now, if Chelsea can say something in January, Neymar was supposed to come. Nene was supposed to wear a blue kit. So if we get Nene in January, let me paint a scenario, top 4. So as of right now, I say Arsenal, Tottenham, it's a battle for that last spot between Liverpool, Chelsea, and maybe United, maybe not. But this is my scenario. Brazil get knocked out in the semis. Nene is angry. He punches the PSG president. He calls up Todd Bowley. Todd Bowley says, "What's up? I'm crying. I need to come to West London right now." Okay, Fulham, Hammersmith. There's a view sitting near the stadium. Nene signs. Where's the blue kits? We come second to City. So that is my alternate scenario. If not, fine. I'll give Arsenal second place. Third place, the way that Tottenham are running right now, I mean, it's difficult. All I'm sure of is City will come top. I'm going to say Arsenal will come second. Third and fourth, I don't know, because Tottenham, for me, just those guys were disgraceful against United. So I don't know. Listen, Tottenham, Chelsea, and thinking, I just don't know. So
I'm going to say that I think Liverpool are going to get into the top 4. I think I do. I think after the win against Manchester City, then they beat West Ham. I think they're going to be able to put together one of those crazy runs that they've did in the past. Like I just think they have. Oh, thank you. I cut my farts. So, but yeah, I think it's, for me, I think Liverpool make the top 4 just based on the fact that I've seen them make these runs before. And I know that we're counting them out, but I think it's silly too. So early on in the season, I think they're one of those teams where they can just put it together when they feel like it. So Liverpool for me are in the top 4, and then there's one space left. And the way Chelsea are looking, I'm looking at maybe potentially it could be them, because they're gaining speed where I think Conte.
How they looking? Chelsea ain't looking that good.
They're looking pretty good.
They got lucky against Villa, and they got lucky against Brentford.
You make your own luck.
No,
Skill
you don't.
makes your own luck.
You don't. You get lucky. You get lucky. Listen, we'll talk about Chelsea maybe a bit later.
We'll go to United, but
For me, yeah, I agree. Liverpool. I think it's way too early to write Liverpool off.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to top 4.
Now to write them off, no.
Yeah,
Top
you
four,
can't.
yeah.
But to say they're bankers to get in there because of how the season's been.
We
might go on.
You're only 3 points off top 4 or so. I think maybe 4 points.
No, that's true. But with Liverpool, you just never know. Like, if we're being real, like
No, you do
we'll
know.
go on a 7-game run and we could lose 2 on the bounce.
Wait, but have you heard of Klopp's 7-year course? This is Klopp's 7th year. And we all know that when he gets to 7 years, things go all crazy. So yes, Liverpool got that good against Man City.
What's crazy? That's the question, isn't it? Because crazy is for Liverpool not challenging City. Do you know what I mean? Coming off, if we come in the top 4, that's still an underachievement.
Still bad. Yeah, still a bad season.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not the 7 years that he had at Dortmund. So that's how we have to look at it and see where
you disrespected Mane. That's what I'm saying. My African brother.
Do you know, I keep hearing that. Like, Mane wanted to leave and go. He didn't want to stay anymore.
He wanted to leave the year before.
Yeah. So I think that's wrong. You don't write Liverpool off in this top 4. I think if you lost to City, I would have said that's done. Yeah. But the City win, the West Ham win, you're only a handful of points behind. And I think that Spurs, for me, are the ones who I predicted them making it. But they're the ones, for me, who I think are most vulnerable of missing out on the top 4, because I still think there's an underlying issue there that the 3 times they've played proper teams, they've not only got beaten, they've been comprehensively destroyed.
Outplayed.
Comprehensively destroyed each and every single time. And if I'm a Spurs fan, that's going to worry me. 110% that's going to worry me.
If I'm a Spurs fan, I'm scared. I'm scared of my own team. They're terrible.
I think the issue with Tottenham is, like, again, you go to that United again, and it's like, I thought United would win, but it's like, yeah, Conte, I know that you're playing away from home, but he had every man, woman, and child in defense.
You like what you saw, yeah, from Man United, from 9 hug. You like that one?
Look, we'll get to United and my hero Christina very soon, but focusing on this, because before the season started, I said that Tottenham would come second, just based off Conte. He's a domestic merchant. He's a UCL flop. He'll come second. But the way that things are looking right now, yeah, Kane can score a lot of goals, but if you are so negative and you don't really have a confidence playing away from home, it's going to be tricky. But you know what has confused things? Arsenal. Because I'm so sure Arsenal will come top 4. That's why it's like, man, so now it's Liverpool, it's Chelsea.
So you didn't have Arsenal in your top 4 to start the season? I did. So for me, only them winning the title would surprise me, because for me,
Nick, you didn't have Arsenal coming before the season.
No, I did.
Nick did.
I had Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal. I had Chelsea 5th and Man United 6th. And I did that before the transfer window closed, before the ball was kicked. And when the transfer window closed, I was even more certain that Chelsea wouldn't get top 4 because you sacked Tuchel.
So who did he have 5th and 6th before this?
Chelsea, Man United.
Why?
Yeah, I have Man United and Chelsea right now, 5th and 6th. I'm just saying that the difference is, though, the situations have changed. Man United are looking good. Chelsea, I'm a bit like, I think Chelsea actually look quite good right now without being scintillating. And that's a worry, because I think they've got another level to go to. Tabi is definitely going to spend more money as well. Yeah. Spurs have got to be careful here, because I think we're moving back into you know how the old top 4 used to be, where the top 4 would pretty much beat everyone barring each other.
Yeah,
I think the top 6 is going back to that level where we're going to within the next year, we're all going to drop very few points, relatively speaking, against the other teams. Newcastle might be a hard team.
It might be a 7.
Right now, like playing Leicester, playing Wolves, teams like even West Ham, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years ago, they were all quite scary games. Now, even as a Man United fan, I'm not worried about them anymore. So the top 4 race is going to be really interesting. I just think that, by the way, Man United, I don't think are good enough yet to make it.
No.
For me, the final spot is going to be between Chelsea and Tottenham just need to be mindful. They lose Harry Kane.
So
you
got Liverpool in there?
Liverpool, yes, still. I've just got Liverpool in there still. Yeah,
Okay, can I just talk about Liverpool right now and everything? So look, here's the thing. First of all, I still think they disrespected Mane. That's my narrative, and I'm going to stick to that.
So in what way, though? What the contract situation, right?
You go on your hands and knees and you beg him to stay. You pay him double. You pay him triple and so forth. Say, Mane, we respect you. You're crucial, because let's keep it real. Charles Darwin fails the eye test. That guy is garbage. I don't care how many goals he's, because the guy fails the eye test. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Luis Diaz, lots of skills and tricks, isn't as effective as Mane. The issue with Liverpool, which people are not saying, is that midfield used to have the physicality and the legs to make up for especially Trent and so forth. They don't have that anymore. Let's look at that City and Liverpool game. Yes, amazing defensive display. Van Dijk and Gomez were superb, and they put a lock on Haaland. Pep is a moron. And he's a moron because he's so obsessed with Klopp. This moron decided that, we've gone on a winning run. You know what? Let's play De Bruyne right wing because he's so obsessed with Klopp, and Klopp is so much in his head. He actually changed his tactic for that game.
He did.
So for me, that was more about Pep being a moron than Liverpool. Yeah, they're not back.
The reason why he would do that though is because he knows how Anfield is, and he done it last season where he played Foden up against Milner, knowing that it worked.
But you're out of form.
Knowing that it worked. Because you know you can't, like, that's the criticism I've got with Klopp, is that you can't play the same way against every single team, because once, like you said, the little components in the team stop working, then it all falls apart. You need to be able to go and look at the resources you've got and be like, you know what, this is how we have to play. They didn't have their normal back line. They had Akanji, Ake, and Ruben Diaz at the back. Well, they made up the back four, but they were playing in the back three in possession. Those were the players that they had to go and play with. So they couldn't go and play Cancelo at left back and Akanji and Ake on the right. They had to go and do that because of injury. So you have to cater to what teams you've got. I think that's something that's actually been lost in modern day football, in my opinion.
No, I agree, and that's why Klopp impressed me so much last weekend against City. Dropped your line deeper, went with a different approach. You know, Milner came in, and I saw that the TL crying their eyes out. This is terrible. It's not going to work, etc. But actually, it did, because you sat deeper. His lack of age didn't matter. His experience was able to shine because his age, lack of speed, and everything else wasn't being exploited by the high line. It was so important to do.
We sat deeper. Not only that, we actually pressed and we were intense, like people like to say about Liverpool, in moments. We didn't just go all out in the game. So the first 10 minutes you saw, we were really intense. Then we dropped off and went really narrow and allowed them to play in the wide areas.
But I said, like, the blueprints of beating Pep has been the same since as Barcelona. You sit in deep, you shut off the passing channels, and they're always going to give you speed because they put so many men in the opposing half. And just one long ball, you beat the guy and you score. But my issue, the just last thing is, Milner is right back. We know that this guy's trash as a defender, and he's a geriatric. Foden, go at the freaking dude. Like,
but there's no space to go into, because if you look at the way Liverpool set up, we're so narrow. City are the. You see how Liverpool are creating comes from out wide, right?
They don't have 1-1v1 to beat Milner.
No, but you can't, because when he goes, that Gomez is there to cover. Usually, because there's so much space in the team, once you get at Milner, the gaps start to appear. So you get at Milner, Gomez comes across, and then you can slide it into the midfield. You can't do that if everyone's set up in a low. You can't do that. Doing that against Burnley is difficult. That's why City's way of playing is actually it works against these low blocks, because they don't rely on getting these one-on-ones. They pass you and move you out of position and spread passes across the box for tapping.
But you see, for me, obviously the City game and the City win is massive win, and you hope that it can spark
from morale.
Yeah, it can spur you on. But the West Ham win is even more important, because
100%.
we, as like with Man United, we had a social. We'll win those big games, and then we'll struggle in like the next game or the smaller games. And you never build that momentum. It's back to the drawing board. If Milner doesn't make that last-ditch tackle in the 89th minute or whatever it is, and West Ham draw that game, I think everything around Liverpool, the way we're talking, the way they're thinking, the way Klopp's thinking, and they're playing,
the penalty puts the penalty away. Yeah, like it's totally different. But now they got it on.
And who they're playing tomorrow? Is it Nottingham Forest? So that's
a win.
And that's it. You then get the Nottingham Forest game, and it makes it no game's easy, but that's an easy game. Yeah. And that's a guarantee of 3 points. Suddenly it's 9 points from 9, and you're right back in the race, which just wasn't the case a few weeks ago. I still don't think I'm in focus. Guys, we're gonna let it's not Javern on the tech today, it's KJ. So we're gonna see if KJ. But by the way, professional cameraman went to uni. Can he get me in focus? Can I be put in focus? Let's see. Here we go. Hey, there we are. There, look at that.
That's great.
You see the hairline? No hair. Well, there is a hairline now. I was about to say no baldness. Is looking good. Viewers, make sure you're smashing the like and the share button right now, and you're downloading and subscribing to NordVPN. One, you want to protect all your data online. Secondly, you want to make sure you're not able to get hacked, but there are some great money-saving tips as well. I'm currently getting all Premier League football, boxing, MMA, and much, much more for $2.99 a month from Moldovan Setanta Sports. Remember Setanta Sports?
Yeah, I remember
in Moldova, on my laptop, $2.99 a month. $2.99 a month.
I might have to sign
I know
up
a few of
soon.
you have messaged as well saying you're doing it and you're getting some messages saying they know you're using a VPN. I am going to send those. I'm going to send that off to Nord. I'm going to send your request off to NordVPN and get them to update me on how to kind of bypass that. They were the ones that told me about this. So they've obviously got a method and way out of it. Next talking point that's been voted for by the viewers was, it's an interesting one. It does connect back to the top six. Steven Gerrard sacked. Steven Gerrard sacked after less than 9 months, 32% win ratio. What are you saying, JJ? Talk to me about your legend.
I'm sad. It's a sad day. It's a sad day. reason why it is, though, is because his dream of getting Liverpool a title has crumbled. I don't want to see him at Anfield in the dugout. Like, that dream is true and well and buried for me. Like, I can't advocate for him to be in his position. I mean, he's had so much money to spend. Like, albeit he's done well at Rangers, but Villa shouldn't be where they've been. I mean, you're looking at Watkins, he's regressed. Coutinho started like a house on fire. You don't really hear that much about him. Buendia, they've actually got so many players. You had the Ming situation that he wasn't able to resolve really and truly because the player's still at the club. And if you decapitanize, do you know what I mean, your captain, he's got to go, in my opinion, or he's got to be out of the team. Once you go and keep him around, you start doing what Arsenal used to do with Xhaka, and Xhaka's playing well. But at the time, it was like, he's got to go. Like, he's not the captain anymore. It's just sad, isn't it? It's just sad from a
to you.
Yeah, I was like, it's not sad to me.
It's sad to you. Just say for JJ, it says sad for JJ.
Mate, I think you're on your JJ in this room. I tell you, you're on your JJ.
It's literally just Liverpool fans, because I'm pretty sure Aston Villa fans are like sigh of relief. Like,
sorry to interject. They were singing "You Scouse Bastard." They were singing at their own manager, "You Scouse Bastard." He went from being their manager to being Liverpool's captain very quickly in Birmingham.
You know what it is? It's just, it's like with the whole situation, when you look at it like objectively, him, Lampard, there's a few managers, they've got that top job so quick without having to step through the right hoops and go through the right hoops. It inevitably was just too much. Like the pressure at an Aston Villa, where it is, for English football, it's a big club, Premier League established, have a lot of money to spend. We were expecting them to be where Newcastle were, challenging, being the best of the top six, or challenging to be that.
I felt it was the wrong move in the first place. Like, okay, you won one league at Rangers. You got to a Europa League semi, I think you did, and got knocked out. So the year before Van Bronckhorst. And then middle of the season, or it might have been around October, November, he goes to Aston Villa after a few months before, when he was linked to a job. I can't remember what job it was. And he was like, I wouldn't leave in the middle of the season. He went and did the exact same thing. And I just felt he was trying to run before he could walk. Now I get it. It's Aston Villa. You're thinking, well, okay, they're not title challengers. But the Premier League, it shows the golfing class between the Premier League and the Scottish League.
It also
and Rangers in the Scottish League compared to Aston Villa.
It also shows that Arteta is the exception to the rule, guys. All these.
When you say exception to the rule,
he's the exception to the rule. Everybody thinks they can just, come to the. He is.
Yeah, he's Pep's side chick.
But that's not what you guys were saying before. It was cold man.
When you look at it, these players aren't really. They're not showing that they're best of the managers. We saw it with Scholes, Sweeney, even with Rooney. Like, they're not that tier.
All right, can we just give it 1 second? Yeah. Wait, let's
Nick's can't let it go.
No, I can't let it go. Because I'll give you an example. Lampard got sacked from Chelsea when they were about 4 points, 5 points off top four. Solskjaer got sacked from Man United when, I don't know how far, but we weren't that far from top four, but we were obviously languishing. Arteta survived 2 8th places, granted one of them was a half season, and a 5th place bottled. So it's more credit to Arsenal. I'll give credit to Arsenal for sticking by him,
knowing that he was the exception.
No, but who knows what Lampard might have achieved at Chelsea?
He might have done it.
Nick, don't you dare. No, that was a great day for Chelsea, and one of the happy days of my life when that guy left. But back to Gerrard, I think, look, the thing though is, management is a skill, and I think that you have to look at the whole Lampard story. I can only name of 2 great players who made great managers: Beckenbauer and Zidane. Very few great players make great managers. Maradona, in my opinion, the GOAT. We also what happened in 2010. Van Basten, it didn't do well. So I know the dream was with Lampard. Man, great legend for Chelsea. He now comes in and he'll now be with that Chelsea dude, but it didn't happen. Gerrard, we all know that the dream is that he becomes Liverpool manager and he gives him that title. But I think for Gerrard, I don't know whether I can call him a useless manager and so forth, but I just feel that don't subscribe to Disney Plus. And people's subscription on Disney Plus is always based on, oh my gosh, he was an amazing player, he'll be an amazing manager, and he'll be great for a club. Because I know for a lot of Liverpool fans, they want to see that Disney Plus story play through. Same thing with Chelsea, but that's why we had the civil war, the great civil war of Chelsea.
However,
well, I was like, no, get this lamp.
There's banter. I would say this: the one thing that Arteta never had happen, he didn't lose the dressing room. And I think Gerrard's lost the dressing room.
Yeah, he definitely lost the dressing room.
Lampard most certainly lost the dressing room. And I think that's the element of Arteta that we're not kind of
He lost a lot of players.
He lost players, but he didn't lose the core group and the trust of the management, the board. Sorry.
But if you look at the transfer market, he's targeted young players, which are impressionable. If you look at the actual Chelsea players that played well under Lampard, they're the likes of Mount, Tammy Abraham,
Reece James,
all the young players that look up to him and he's a god.
Impressionable is I don't know. It sounded like he's out here trying to manipulate somebody to believe in.
No, of course, because if you've got like an Emil Smith Rowe as an example, and he's coming to the team, and Arteta's giving him this chance to kind of just showcase his skills, right? He's playing that. If Arteta tells him, you know what, you're playing right wing back this game.
You're playing right wing back.
Okay,
but at the same time,
I know it's extreme, but you look at Aubameyang playing out left. He's coming back in, be like.
But at the same time, Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, who are both in their 30s, have worked under Arteta. Like, I think it's just a certain type of player, not necessarily young or old.
It's interesting. There's a super chat here from Blaze. Actually, I want to read this out. He says that, Jess, if Arteta took over Everton or Aston Villa, he'd be relegated considering the horrible results he got at the mighty AFCV. Their owners are soft. There is that argument as well, though, isn't there, that maybe managers just need to be given more time and backed, i.e. if Gerrard's trying something and players are saying, no, we don't want to do it. Man United have been through this where they're like, we don't like the coaching staff. We don't like this. We don't like that. There comes a point where you've got to put your foot down and say, you're going to do as you're told, as opposed to, okay, fine, we'll just sack this manager and bring somebody else in for you. I think that Arsenal are, in my opinion, and we're going to get onto them later in the show, the dividends are being paid now for persevering through those bad times. The dividends. Glazer hater over there, KJ, and dividends. I hate that word, dividends. But it's true. I think they're now reaping the rewards because they had that patience. And I look at Lampard and look at Lampard at Everton. A lot of people at the end of last season, he ain't good enough, sack him. They're slowly starting to turn that round now because he's being given time. And I think more managers need that. I think more managers need it.
The irony of Gerrard is that two of his most iconic Premier League moments is bottling the league for Liverpool, slipping against Chelsea, and then thrown away a 2-0 lead against City. I'm just saying.
Nick, don't you know what happened? No, it was all part of the plan. City, they intended to go 2-0 down to make it exciting, and they were always going to win. Like, come on. Look, Villa were never going to.
So what next for Gerrard? Where does he go back to Scotland maybe and try? I don't know. Championship?
I don't know. I think
he has got qualities as a manager. I don't think he's like, as bad as the Scottish League is. Celtic had dominated it for 10 years. It's still impressive to win it, get you into a championship. Yeah, I think his career's not done, innit?
I think the problem you've got though with like these types of managers is that when these teams come calling for you, how can you turn that down? Like in any walk of life, if you were in any career, even as a player,
but in fairness, Wayne Rooney turned down the interview at Everton and essentially said, "I know I'm not ready yet." And he's gone. In fact, I was shocked he went to America because he actually did a very good job, all things considered, at Derby County. They were very impressed with him that he kept the dressing room together. But I like the route he's taken. He's gone to America. He'll do a bit of time there. No pressure. I don't see it. No result that DC United have trends, win, lose, or draw. There's no pressure, and you can learn to cut your teeth. I think it's sensible. The Pep Guardiolas and the Zidanes, who get their first job is a big job and they're successful. It's so rare. What Arteta's doing is very, very rare. Because the thing with Arteta is we saw all of his mistakes in the public eye. We ain't going to see Wayne Rooney's. over in America, like managing sort of League One or Championship teams. When you're Steven Gerrard with your profile and you take over a Premier League team, everyone's looking, and we were all doing it. Everyone in this room, barring JJ, was praying for his downfall, because the last thing we wanted was Gerrard to be a world-class top-level midfielder in the Prem, and then a brilliant manager as well. Because
and win it with win the Premier League.
and win the Premier League with Liverpool.
That's really,
yeah, of course, like 100%. That's what people wanted. But I think most of us would agree it was probably the right thing at the right time to sack him.
Yeah, I got a colleague at work who's an Aston Villa fan, and it was only, and obviously we got one over there as well, KJ.
Yeah.
But I only realized maybe about 2 weeks ago, and I went to a meeting and he's just sitting there, sad, like literally he was just he's like,
we are sad,
and he's like, you know what? I need to vent. Why is Gerrard still at my club? I didn't even know he was a Villa fan. I was like, oh, and he went on and on about it. And he's like, no, this is how the fan base feel. They actually wanted him gone. And I didn't realize, obviously, you know, when you're in the top six, Ivory Tower and that, you don't really focus on all of them there, but they actually really wanted him gone. And I think everything from the signings, the dealing with Tyrone Mings and all that kind of that rubbish, I think they had to go. They had to get him gone. But the thing was, I'm surprised how they got rid of him. They sacked him before they got back on the coach. And they had to drive all
that was dirty.
way.
I thought. I didn't like that. That's not right.
You know what,
because when I heard it, I thought, oh no, it must be like tomorrow. It's like, no, you can't sack the guy. So basically, it's almost like as soon as Fulton, a guy came with a pink slip and said, yo, what's up? And don't give him the pink slip.
It's probably like a WhatsApp text message or something like that, just like you're gone. Like, what do you do? Like, that's terrible.
I disagree, though. I think, there was a story a few days before that was saying that he's been sacked already.
Yeah.
And him and the media came out and went, no, not at all. He hasn't been sacked. We're backing him. Straight after when he's gone. For me, I think he was already sacked. In the same way, I think Thomas Tuchel already knew that he was gone. Lampard managed the FA Cup game. I want to say it was against Luton, and he'd already been told he was sacked. I think Gerrard was, whether it was official or it was a stay of execution.
But imagine you're on the coach, you're sitting at the front of the coach, all your players at the back, and they're all reading social media with an official statement from Aston Villa saying your manager
But at the same time, though.
How long is that drive?
Hang on. But at the same time, though, at the same time that happened, Gerrard's sitting there seeing a massive lump sum go into his bank account, 4-year contract paid up in full. So he's like, yeah, you're all laughing.
Who were they playing? Fulham. So back to Birmingham, we're saying 2 hours on the coach, maybe a bit.
2 hours, that time of night.
That's not that bad.
No.
It's awkward.
By the way, back home to Birmingham, into his £250,000 car, okay, driving to his £3-4 million house. Gerrard's fine, people.
Yeah, he's fine.
Gerrard is okay.
So if we sack Terry today,
I'll be honest with you. I tell you about the new car today. I was at the traffic lights, about to pull into the car park earlier. Some kid pulled out his phone and started filming my car. I was like, that's mad. I was like, I cracked the window a bit. I waved. Nice. Levels. Hit the like and the share button, people. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well and getting yourself signed up to NordVPN, our title sponsors of this show. Make sure when you're using the internet, it is safe and it is secure. There's a lot of strange people out there as well that would like to hack you, take your private data, just as we saw last night on socials, people's addresses being pumped out there for everybody to see. So be careful and protect yourself. Now, the next talking point, as voted for by the viewers, 51% of the vote it had. Neeks. Actually, I'm going to go to have hope first on this.
God.
Cristiano Ronaldo refusing to come on, drop for this weekend, and talks of him being sold in January. Speak to me about Cristiano Ronaldo's petulant behavior.
Like, if I could have almost 2 hours, I could just go into a 2-hour dialogue. So I'm going to just condense everything. Look, my beef with this extremely egotistical dude stems from him stealing the name Ronaldo. There's only one Ronaldo. There's only one. So yeah, I've always had that beef with him. So put that to one side. He messed up. Real Madrid, you don't leave Real Madrid. Paris didn't tell him to go. He was like, well, you've just won the Champions League. Everybody's celebrating. But you have to be the one that says that, well, I want to feel appreciated and everything. So you actually dampen the whole mood after the Champions League. So how he thought the story was going to go is, I go to Juventus and Real Madrid will never win the UCL. And they pretty much begged me to come back after I've given Juve the UCL. He goes to Juve, realized that as important as I was, so was Modric, so was Ramos, so was Benzema, and so forth. Casemiro, everybody. You don't win the UCL there, United. Oh my gosh, these guys are struggling. But if I go back there, the king is back, and I'll now take them back to the top. You get your 17 goals. Cool. But they finish 6th. But because you're such an egotistical dude, you're like, hey, man, the GOAT is back. I get the 17 goals, even if it didn't really help with the whole team. So you've signed a contract. You're under contract. But now you want to now come out of that contract. So United should therefore now buy you out of your contract to let you go, even though that you are under contract. And yes, they are well within their rights to use you either for playing time or for merchandising because you're under contract. No one came for this dude. So please. No.
For this dude.
No. Twitter is a cesspool full of liars and people who use surgery to look like freaking Cristiano Ronaldo. So
that's why you got so many followers.
so my thing is that nobody came with a concrete offer for this dude. So don't believe any of those lies. For Cristiano, I think this is just karma because the biggest issue with him are his fanboys. Look, that's the biggest issue with him because his fanboys, they are the people that enable this kind of attitude for him. You look at that statement, that he made that statement because he's like, okay, let me go to social media. I'll look at CR7 rap rhymes. I love CR7 and all of these accounts that say that, oh my gosh, United have been so disrespectful. They've treated him badly. So he used that and say, I don't need to apologize because I've seen from another angle how I feel wronged. When Tevez refused to come on for Mancini, that was the first time I ever saw a player at the top level refuse to come on as a sub. It is one of the most disrespectful things to do to a manager because you're like, I can't fight with you. I can't force you. I can't start arguing with you because I have to manage a game. To refuse to come on, that is beyond disrespectful. And it's so funny how life works. Imagine if you had a situation where United were playing badly and they were losing without Cristiano. You're in a difficult situation because you have to discipline him. But then you're like, man, we do need him. So it now enables the Ronaldo fanboys. This plays like karma. United are playing. United's performance against Tottenham, that is the best I've seen United in years.
Yeah, since LVG.
Yeah, and Cristiano did not play a single minute. Everything happens for a reason. So the fact that you walked off after United had their best performance in years, if I'm Ten Hag, you never play a single minute. And for Cristiano, you've messed yourself up. Fernando Santos, you're going to play him. Now, if you're in the right, and we're looking at that World Cup, if you're not match fit, I can't start you. But it's Santos. Him and Cristiano have a special bonding. So you're not going to screw over Portugal and play a player who is not going to be match fit for the World Cup. But you've messed yourself up. Hopefully you don't play single minutes. You'll go into the World Cup not fully match fit, and we'll now see how that will end up. Come January, who is going to come for you? Because anybody thinking that they wanted to get Cristiano in the summer were like, do we want this drama?
Yeah.
Do we really want to bring this drama to our club? We may have been considering before. So, and you guys said Todd Bowley. I'm going to be on a conference call with Todd tomorrow. And I'm going to say, Todd B, I am begging you, bro. Please, I am begging you. Potter is doing well. The team looks good. Okay, thank you. But my thing is because imagine you bring Cristiano into Chelsea right now. That's messed up Graham Potter because if he comes in, he has to start every game and so forth. But Potter now has full control over this team. If Cristiano comes, he's not going to come with his legion of fans and that baggage. So I feel for basically it's so perfect for Ten Hag. It's perfect. Team is playing well. Team looks good. It's without Cristiano, and the only people that say that Ten Hag is wrong are the Ronaldo fanboys. That's it. Everybody is in unison.
And at this point, they're not really Man United fans. No. I think anybody who's Player FC is not really a fan of the club. Like sometimes you just have to cut. Like that's what I like about Ten Hag. Honestly, like he's dropped players. Dropping players works. It does. It's the best thing you could do, especially when you first come in. You have big personalities. Drop people who aren't listening to you. It is what it is. And then I think I like the way he handled it. He didn't let the Ronaldo situation overtake or be the main talking point after the best game that United have played under him. He didn't let that become the story. And I like that. He showed that he's the main guy and Ronaldo is just going to have to deal with it. And I don't know. I just think he was supposed to leave in the summer. Nobody wanted to come and bring it. Like you said, didn't want to put in a bid for him. And so now he's acting out. And is anybody surprised that this is happening? No. This is not shocking.
To be fair, though.
Sorry, I mean, just to say, I said this in the summer. Again, I agree 100% with Mark Goldbridge's tweet from the other day. Ronaldo is responsible for what he did. 100% Ronaldo is responsible for what he did. But this is on the Glazers. Ronaldo's personality was never going to take well to him not being a regular starter in the team, because the way his head's working is every attacker at our club, for me, isn't even half the player Ronaldo was at his best. In his mind, he's still that player, and he hasn't. Ronaldo hasn't accepted yet that his body isn't there anymore. I don't think he's accepted it, and he can see we're better without him. He knows we're better without him, but he doesn't want to accept it, and he's angry and frustrated. And a lot of Man United fans predicted that if he stays in this team this season, he would become a problem player. What's making it even worse is that I actually think what the half of it the Glazers have got right is they're allowing Ten Hag to have the power to say no. And I think that's also frustrating Ronaldo, because we know 2 years ago at United, 5 years ago at United, 8 years ago at United, those players, the Pogbas and the Martials have done it, the Di Marias and others, they go upstairs and say, well, we want to play, or we want to be able to leave, or we want to do this. And the Glazers sided with the commercial players over whatever manager was in charge. And they have made a conscious effort to say that's not going to happen. And for that, I'm thankful. I'm annoyed they kept him here in the first place because he shouldn't be here now. But for me, I've seen a lot of United fans defend him or say it was disrespectful, though, for him to warm up and not be brought on. No, it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't at that stage of the game. Ronaldo would have offered us very little in that moment. We needed players that would come on, track back and run, ensure we didn't concede any stupid late goals. Anyone defending Ronaldo at this point, for me, I agree with you, Jess, isn't a Man United fan. You're a fanboy of the player. And for me, because you don't support Man United, your opinion for me is absolutely invalid.
No, but sorry, before you go. So people say, okay.
Who say you're gonna trim down your 2 hours?
No. Okay, this is my last day out. But
come on, Sebastian.
Powerful. Or Double H. But people say, okay, it was disrespectful for him to warm up and not bring him on. So does Cristiano pay Ten Hag's wage? Because last I checked, it was Man United. And when you're in a game, you change your mind. So you're like, okay, this game is going this way. Okay, actually, you know what? So in Ten Hag's mind, he is thinking about what is the best thing for United. He can't be like, I promised Cristiano to play. Oh, and also promised all his fanboys on Twitter that I'd play him. So let me not disrespect him. For Ten Hag is like, I made a decision based upon what was going to happen. But question to the panel is, I need to just know the truth here. When was he thinking of bringing on Cristiano, and when did he refuse to come on?
He was thinking of bringing him on before the match ended. And that's the only thing that matters. I don't care if it was the 94th minute or the 4th minute. The manager says, get ready and go on. Maybe he wants to waste time to ensure the clean sheet, get a tall player on the pitch to defend the corner, whatever it might be. I don't care. Your manager said to strip off and get ready to come on.
Yeah, I know you come.
You get ready to come on. Simple as. So for me, I mean, the Ronaldo fanboy thing it's very funny, because generally, listen, this is the first time Ronaldo's really showed out like this. We know, Ronaldo got ego and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of great sportsmen have egos. Michael Jordan has one of the biggest egos in sport history, if not the biggest. The things that he would do to his teammates, let alone, whether it's a coach or a manager. Mm. But so for me, that's by the by. It happens. Some players have it, some players don't. But so the fanboy thing, you support Ronaldo because he's a great player. But I've seen another side to it where those fanboys, they are so much, in his, wherever they might be, that they can't see him do any wrong. They can't perceive that he might actually not be God, and he might actually be human and be able to make mistakes. They can't see it. And it's frustrating that even among people who are Man United fans, they're jumping through hoops. So I'm not even going to say call all them fanboys per se, but there's some of them are jumping through hoops and doing mental gymnastics to try and find a way to criticize Ronaldo because you know that he did wrong, but not to really go as far as you would go if it was someone else. And for me, it's like, just call it what it is. He was downright disrespectful. If he told him to warm up and didn't want to bring him on, you sit back down. If he told you to warm up and come on, which actually came out after, because that was the issue. At first, people were saying, well, why would you bring him on in the 89th minute? Why are you going to give him those, those Van der Beek minutes, etc.? Then we find out, no, he actually told him to come on. So that actually makes it worse. Because you said no and walked off. You didn't just walk off because you weren't coming on.
And it was a simple scenario.
That actually makes it worse. But they're still doing gymnastics to defend him. It's crazy.
And it was a simple scenario. I think when we scored the second goal in the 69th, 70th minute, There was no need to push for it. So you don't bring attackers on until later. And then it was a case of, I think that substitution was purely to waste a bit of time, which is what you do. And we had a game against Chelsea this week. And Chelsea, we'll get onto later, but rested players in their midweek game. We played our strongest 11. Ronaldo was going to be needed this Saturday. Without a shadow of a doubt, he was going to be needed against Chelsea. But his refusal to come on is disrespectful. And now he's dropped. So he's actually damaged Man United in this game because we have a weaker bench than with him on it. I'm not saying he should start, but Ronaldo in the last 15, 20 minutes of a game where he needed a goal is still dangerous.
When he came against Arsenal, he made an impact. He didn't score, but he made an impact. So Ronaldo is still a useful player. And for 37 years old, he's a bloody good player for a 37-year-old.
I mean, I think it's a key point that Terry made. And it goes to the Ronaldo fan, and I think this is really just criticizes everything. His fans, because he has tunnel vision, him and his sister, they have tunnel vision on the supporters. So he has in his mind that I'm still 25. Bro, he said during the international break that, no, I'm going to play in Euro 2024 when we'll be 39. So in his mind, because of the people that still think he's this great, he still thinks he's 25, and that is dangerous. Because when you look at Modric right now, Modric knows that I'm 37 and I'm playing and accepting I'm playing as a 37-year-old. Messi knows that, okay, I can see the end right now. Mark this down. Cristiano will not voluntarily retire. An injury is going to retire him.
Yeah, no, I hear that completely. Viewers, want to get your take and your thoughts on that. We're going to do some super chats now. After that, we're talking about Arsenal and can they win the league?
Sorry, can I just say, obviously, HH took the mic and I don't know why he's so passionate about. Is he really your idol? Maybe he's really your idol. But for me, obviously, the big question is what happens with Ten Hag. Also, what happens with Cristiano Ronaldo from here? Now, for me, and you know that we're obviously being on the Football Terrorists and other channels working, I've always defended the manager of Manchester United, the position of manager. So for me, the answer is whatever Ten Hag wants. If Ten Hag wants Ronaldo to never play another game for Man United and never train with the senior team again, then I back that decision completely. If Ten Hag is comfortable with Ronaldo's statement, I'm not even going to call it an apology because it's not an apology. He didn't say sorry once. He didn't say, I apologize. He basically said, shit happens. That's what he said. That's what he said. But if Ten Hag is comfortable with that, and he's comfortable that he's spoken to Ronaldo personally, and maybe Ronaldo's apologized to him personally, and maybe Ronaldo's apologized to his teammates, or whatever it is, if Ten Hag's comfortable enough to reintegrate him into the side after suspension and fine, which I think is the right thing, then I'm comfortable with that decision. Would I do that personally? Maybe not. But I back the manager. And this is what I mean by backing the manager, what they want to get rid of, who they want to sign, how they want to play, whatever it might be. And in this case, I have to back Ten Hag on this because I just think if you go against him, whatever it might be, no, Ronaldo has to stay or Ronaldo has to be sold, then he loses the respect that he's actually gaining every day at Manchester United.
But this is obviously to Terry Neeks and obviously any United fan. Does this situation not actually help Ten Hag?
100%.
Because there was all this talk at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Does Ten Hag even want Ronaldo? Is Ronaldo going to leave because of it? Is he going to drop him? Is he going to accept it? I remember Gary Neville on Sky Sports actually sat down with him and said, what's your plans with Ronaldo? Do you want that type of player? How does he fit?
I think
now that Ronaldo's done this, it actually helps him because it's like, you've made your choice. But now you're not playing, and no one's really going to have any qualms.
Does Ten Hag have enough credit so far with the Man United fan base to be able to drop somebody like this? And if it doesn't go well, there is so much of the season left over. Do you know what I mean? Where if form dips and you guys aren't seeing the same return, that the fans won't turn on him then, because that's usually when you see it. I
think dropping Ronaldo permanently means he leaves in January, and we've only really got 3 or 4 games.
This is true.
So how long would the form dip between now and when Ronaldo leaves?
It's about it right now. I think Man United fans are fully behind Erik ten Hag, and especially with the performances we've had. You know, barring the opening 2 games and then City trouncing us, we've been pretty good in the majority of other matches. And what we've seen in our last 3 games is his style coming through, which is what we were all hoping for. And I think the reason that other managers got thrown on the buses by the fans is the football was annoying us as well as the results, and people can see like an end. But viewers, what do you think in relation to that? Should he be sold? Should he be moved on? We've got some super chats here we want to do. First one here says, tell that English hater HH to respect Mount #bold.
This guy follows me everywhere.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Spurs against the bottom 3 teams. Wolves 20 shots, 8 inside the box. Leicester 19 shots, 8 inside the box, and Forest 17 shots, 9 inside the box. Well, it's one of the things I've called out about Spurs all season. They concede too many chances and too many opportunities. That's why I thought it was laughable they were considered title contenders, but I still think they've got a massive chance of making it into the top 4. But that has to improve, because if Chelsea and Man United and Liverpool get better than they are now, that could become a problem for them. Villa fans singing the Slippy G song at Fulham. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to see. Have Hope and Jess. Oh, could make a cute couple. I see the secret chemistry over there.
Not so secret.
Do you?
Ooh.
I mean,
Oh. There we go. You forgot Cruyff. Yeah, Cruyff was a good player and manager.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. Cruyff.
Yeah, absolutely. You weren't. Sebastian wasn't born then. Come on, people.
Have hope.
Let the pretty lady speak.
I did talk a lot.
Come
I
on,
talk a lot.
ladies. Come on, ladies. Do you remember that? £1 fish. That guy was great. It was a market stall in down. I think it was Green Street or down by West Ham Stadium.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Didn't he go to Britain's Got Talent?
He did, and then I read that he then got told he weren't meant to be in the UK.
And it's like you would have thought that before you went public.
But he made some money though.
Oh,
He
okay.
made some money though. So good luck to him. You Still My Girl. Do you see Liverpool getting top 4?
Oh, was this
Mrs.
Yes,
Stewart,
you.
yeah.
Yes,
oh,
you.
me. Okay.
Yeah.
Give it 2 more games.
JJ, he wants that
Stand on. It's a yes or a no. Yes or a
two backer there.
You know
No
what?
chest.
Yes. I gotta say it was chest. I'm confident right now. Jamie would be
Okay.
so yes.
I like that. Sorry, I've already had. Sorry, Jess. Arteta survived being 8th and 5th is acceptable at Arsenal. This isn't the same true for Man United and Chelsea. If you finish outside the top 4, you're sacked.
Okay. I mean, but I mean, okay, like, you know, like I do think that like at some point you hire Mikel Arteta knowing that he has literally no experience. So you're going to be growing with him and watching him make these mistakes, but they always knew that he was highly rated and they liked what he was saying. And it took time for us to get there. That's a very unique scenario that I don't think you can apply across the board. I do think Chelsea are a lot more cutthroat, and maybe that's why they've been super successful over the last 15 years. But Arsenal just do things different. There's more than one way to skin a cat, you know, and I think this is what we've chose to do. Arteta still has a ways to go. Like, we haven't really achieved anything as of yet, but I think on the basis of what we've seen, it was the right decision, but we had to go through all of it to get here. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Nathaniel here says, on a flight from Washington back to Dallas, Texas. So happy to have the live show. So you're watching us on a flight. That's amazing. I've never heard that before, but that's great. I'm glad that we're giving you that in-flight entertainment.
Well, Wi-Fi. That's rich man talk.
Yeah, I can't afford the Wi-Fi on a plane. It don't work. CR37, worst enemy is his toxic positivity fans. Yeah, sometimes you need criticism. If I am the coach, the only way CR37 starts in my team is in a FIFA just for his ratings. This from here from Tomid says, didn't Ten Hag say he wouldn't disrespect Ronaldo by bringing him on for garbage minutes 2 weeks ago?
See, this is nonsense. See, people, they purposely misquote this. We were losing that game about 6-1 at one point. And he said, I'm not going to disrespect Ronaldo by bringing him on in a pointless situation in a Manchester derby. That's disrespectful. In our best performance of the season, we're winning 2-0 at Old Trafford. That is a completely different context. You know that, and everyone else is saying that knows that. And if you don't, do some research before you send silly questions like that.
I agree completely. Erik Ten Hag, same Erik Ten Hag that said he didn't bring. Okay, same one again. Same thing again there. Yes, that's already been explained. Appreciate the super chat, Matt. But different kettle of fish altogether. Ten Hag did say that he had Ronaldo in his plans. So why the U-turn?
He has plans. A plan off the bench. A plan in the Europa League. A plan in the League Cup. What's going on there?
Equally. Sorry. Equally, I've got to say this as well. Stop taking everything managers say literally. He's being professional. He wanted Ronaldo gone in the summer, but he's never going to sit on camera and say that, and nor more should he. He doesn't think this squad is amazing, but he's going to say on camera, I've got a very good squad. That is what managers say and do. Klopp did something recently where he said that I considered this Liverpool squad my squad the day I took over, as if to say in year one, if I lost a final, it's on me, it's my squad. He's only saying that now because he's won Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. If FSG never bought him a new squad and he finished 5th, 4th, 5th and won nothing and got sacked last year, he'd be saying, I never got the backing and investment. Managers will always toe the party line and be professional in press conferences. Always. Like, don't get that twisted, my friend. Was that a pen on Cash yesterday? Proximity. I didn't see it last night. What was I doing last night? I was watching Arsenal, and then doing a reaction. So I didn't see it, my friend, so I can't comment. But thank you.
It's a bigger game on. Sorry.
there we go.
How many European Cups?
Viewers, make sure the like button is still being smashed as we are here live in the studio for you today. Next talking point. They've got another game this weekend. Could they make it 14 wins from 15? But the bigger question, I'm going to go to Neeks first on this. Can Arsenal win the league?
Listen.
Here we go.
I've got my own personal preferences, and I'm a bit stuck at the moment. I needed some teams to come through, and they haven't come through. Man City are going for 3 in a row. That can't happen. Only Fergie can do that. Liverpool are going for 20. That can't happen. Only Fergie can do that. Or Man United. I hate Arsenal. Everyone knows I hate Arsenal. Let's not brush it under the carpet. I don't hate Arsenal fans. I love Arsenal. I love people. I got Arsenal fans in my family. My girlfriend's an Arsenal fan. You know how they go. I'm not racist.
Who says that? What kind of people say that? I don't know anyone who's ever said that. It's terrible.
But I might need Arsenal to come through. I'm not gonna lie. You might need to do us a favor because history's on the line now. And we're not ready to defend our own legacy, and clearly Spurs ain't ready.
Chelsea,
Quidditch, that ain't happening. It ain't happening. Forget it.
No, Quidditch is all right.
No, I like it. No, but not this one. But so I might need Arsenal to come through. So listen, guys, you got my. I'm not going to hate on you right now because I need you to come through. But if you slip up, I will be here. They're 4 points clear. They're winning every game in every competition other than Old Trafford. Listen, you can't come and beat my team. It is what it is. You know, you take that on the chin. But they're putting their second team out in the Europa League and winning those games, looking good. We're putting our first team out in the Europa League and we're struggling. You know, other than the last game, we struggled to score, but we played well. We're struggling. We're losing game. So I have to respect what Arsenal's doing. It's a long season.
It is a very long season.
If Arsenal win the league, could you handle the Arsenal fans when they win the league?
Could you handle me in the group chat every day?
Hang on. Jeff, with all due respect, I'm going to forget you for a minute. Can you handle a gal if Arsenal win the league?
You know the thing is, Arsenal fans are just loud anyway. They'll be
really
and they're still loud. So what one is it really? Like they'll be loud and they're like, what you got loud to be? And they'll be like, Invincibles. And you're like, oh, here we go again. So I'm like, you know, what is Arsenal winning the league in the grand scheme of things? Now, if you try to go back to back or 3 in a row, then we got problems. We got big problems. But all I'm saying is 10 games in, you're 4 points clear. There was a time when Leicester were in this position. And everyone was like, yeah, okay, they'll finish top 4, but they'll fall off. And then it was like, okay, all right, they finished top 4, but you lot are playing good. You've got some easy games coming up. You got Chelsea soon, actually, maybe.
In 3 games.
Yeah, so you got them soon, yeah. So you should win your next game, win the game after that. Your last game before the World Cup is probably Chelsea, somewhere in and among that. If you're still top of the league and maybe 3 points clear, because Man City are dropping points, going into that World Cup, you've got a big chance. But the World Cup is a massive, massive hurdle because we just don't know who's coming out of it. You might come out in the group stage, all your players are back. They might go to the final, they miss some games before they actually start playing. They come back injured. And that's not just Arsenal, it's every team. So I think that World Cup, the whole season can change after it. But as it stands, Arsenal, you have to say you're in the title race. You can't be 4 points clear after 10 games and say you're not in the title race. And once you're in the title race, you got a chance, isn't it? So
is 4 points clear supposed to be like some big, because you're like, well, if Arsenal slip up, I mean, if we slip up now, whatever, and we finish second or third.
Still a good season.
We didn't, yeah.
I'm not saying you bottled it,
okay.
but I'm not going to say, no, I might say it. I'm not going to lie. I might say it.
Yeah.
But right now, I can say, with a clear head that, no, that's not bottling it, losing the league because you're top after 10 games. What I'm saying is the way you're playing, the wins you're getting across all competitions, you should be confident. Southampton, you should be confident win that game. I don't know who the game after that. You should be confident win that game. Which games can right now, the way you're playing, which games are you not confident of winning? Away at the Etihad, maybe at Anfield, possibly at White Hart Lane because of the history there. But everyone's dropping points. So what I'm saying is, be confident. I'm just conquering that. Be excited. Be excited, Arsenal
All I'm going to say is you're telling me to be excited so that I can get on here and get all gas so you guys can clip me up. Because you're always talking about clipping me up.
Jess. No,
get
you're not. Hang on, Jess. You are not attacking the football terrace
No,
for you
I'm
not having
attacking
any
Nice.
chess.
I was attacking Nice. One time I put, when Pepe scored last season, and I put that one little video, and you're like, I'm going to use it?
I've still got the video. Just in case Pepe comes back. So I've still got the video.
So what you're actually saying is, though, you believe it, but you just don't want to say it in case Neeks clips you up.
I don't want to, yeah.
Can you? Let me ask you this question then, please. I want you to look into your camera as I say this. Look into your camera as I ask you this question, please, Jessica Black. Lift your head up, please. I promise I won't touch it. Lift your head up. All right, look into the camera.
All right.
Do you believe that Arsenal can win the English Premier League?
Low-key, I started to believe it the minute we beat Liverpool. So.
But I knew it and I said it.
Low-key, I got really gassed.
I was like, you've got to say it. That you've got to believe it with your chest now. Because if you don't do it now, I'm telling you, it's too late.
But
it's too late if you fall off.
My thing that it's too early. My thing that things only get real come February.
Sorry, hey Chase. Sorry, I just want to say, as long as Jesus doesn't do a Lukaku type interview and derail your season, you got a chance. That's what I'm saying.
If Chelsea knew how to pass the ball forward, Lukaku would drop 30 goals. But that's a whole different story. It's too early. I think that we can only take Arsenal seriously if, let's say, we're in February right now and they're still top of the table, because they can go out of form. I think it's such a weird season because we have to now see how guys react after the World Cup break because we've never had a season in history where the World Cup has been in the middle. So physically, what does that do to players coming afterwards? Because you may have a scenario where, for some reason, a team that had like 4 guys at the World Cup, they don't seem to be in the flow because we've never really experienced this. So I think that nothing can be said until we reach February and see, okay, where are teams now in February? Where are teams now in March? It's a marathon, not a race. Like right now, Arsenal are leading, but a season, it's all about consistency. It's like that season with Liverpool and Man City, 98, 97. That's what you win. And to do that is a level of consistency that I'm not sure.
We haven't seen from Arsenal. We haven't seen it.
And we haven't seen that across the season, but I saw a stat the other day, was the league table from I think it was from January the 1st. It might have been from the end of January, but January the 1st. And Arsenal I think they were top of the table, but they had played a few more games than they played 27, Liverpool played 25, and they were like 3 points above Liverpool. But the consistency that Arsenal are showing now mirrors some of the consistency that we saw in smaller patches at the start of the year, so the end of last season, other than those, that block where you lost 3 games in a row and then at the end of the season. But so I'm not saying they are favourites for the title. They're not. Of course, Man City are favourites for the title. But what they're doing now is unprecedented in terms of the number of wins in a row, but it's not a fluke. It's not they're just winging.
I'm glad Nick said that because, I do think people are acting like we've just come out of nowhere. And that's where this whole, could they do a Leicester? It's actually, for me, offensive. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but to say that Arsenal are doing a Leicester because we won 21 games last season. And for the majority of it, we were really, really good. It was just the bookends of the season. We failed. We really did.
It's the pressure moments.
Yeah, and it was the
pressure moments don't exist after 10 games. So, of course, but how about that means we can never not ask the question until the pressure moments.
Yeah.
But I think it's a valid question.
No.
But then, but I also want to say just really quickly, you guys, like there's always like this shifting of the goalposts. It's like, well, after you guys do this, after you do this, like even this World Cup nonsense, like I'm sorry, it's just BS for me. Everybody's going to have players in the World Cup. If we're saying that, like, well, we have to see how Arsenal is going to do, it's going to be freaking everybody. And then you're talking about, oh, well, what if their players are tired? We're the second youngest team in the league. If anybody's players are going to bounce back, it's going to be ours. We have less of our starters going to be playing major minutes in that tournament. Like, I don't actually see.
The start of
He's not. If Richarlison go,
If Richarlison's fit, then
I dare brother to start.
Look, I think the World Cup thing. I want to say this about it. I do think we can win. Arsenal. I do think Arsenal. But no, I think Arsenal. I think the conversation gets diluted. I get what Jem was saying, that it's too early. Yes, they've got to get for those pressure moments, but can Arsenal win it after the start they've had? Of course they can. I think they're in a very privileged position because there's no expectation to win it even from this point. Arsenal fans can just enjoy this because top four is an absolute shoe-in. And that is what people... Go back to the beginning of the season. Go back to July. People were saying they weren't going to do it. Go back to last May. Their best chance of making top four. There's no way they're doing it next year. Arsenal are the only team at the moment out of the top six who are exceeding expectations. Probably Man United a little bit as well, because beginning of the season, people like Boovy were saying not even top 10, right? So we're slightly ahead of where we should be. But for me, of course they can win the league. Do I think they're going to right now? No. City is still my favourites to do it. But people keep writing Arsenal off and they keep winning. You don't win your opening, was it 14 from 15 or 13 from 14?
I think their best starts for like
it's their best start for 108 years. There's something, I don't think you can ignore that element of it. That element of it is ridiculous. And people a few weeks ago were saying City, best team by far. But they've dropped points in 3 games. They lost Arsenal and they only... Listen, I'm happy Man United beat them. When we take away our rivalry for a moment,
Don't say it.
That naive substitution, if that was different, it could have been different. It wasn't as if
if the ref didn't cheat.
Yeah, I know. If the ref didn't keep Lukonga on the
we
pitch.
didn't do to Arsenal what we did to Tottenham.
No.
Or even Liverpool. Like
it was sweet.
It was very sweet, and I loved it. But Arsenal can definitely win the league. The big question mark, I don't think it's about the World Cup. I don't think it's about injuries per se, because everyone's going to get them. It's going to be how Arsenal handle the pressure moments.
Yeah.
That is going to be the key. But if they're in that title race, and even if they foul, though, being the youngest team in the league, I still don't. That doesn't make their season a failure, because I would say 80% of football predicted them to come 5th. So the fact if they get in a title race, that is success, relatively speaking.
Can I just say one more thing on that as well? Like that's why we have to also, because I saw last season there was a lot of this like Kroenke love. And like, that's fine because they're doing a really good job and they're definitely trying to turn the corner. But they did not invest in January. I still feel like that was an issue for us in terms of getting into the top 4. They have got to go into the transfer window in January and reinforce the team.
Yeah.
I think we're 1-2 players short. And I think that's very, like, that's obvious to say because we tried to get Douglas Luiz at the very end of the summer transfer window. If they don't do that, we could crumble. Like we really, really could, because our players, they're going to get injuries, you know, and I just think that's the main thing. And that's why we can't sit around and say the Kroenkes have completely turned a corner. They can't look at what we're doing and then say, you know what, we're fine. Don't invest because we have to.
Phil Jones is available. Very versatile.
We don't
player.
need him.
Very versatile. Right back, centre back, defensive.
That was a great. Remember that meme? That you know the are we allowed to speak about Ye on the internet anymore? But so. He remember the song that we had they memed up Chris Smalling and Phil Jones.
No.
I don't
remember that meme.
It wasn't Otis, was
Chris
it?
Smalling. Do you remember that song?
Oh, I remember. Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, and they were like in these weird. Yeah. Anyway, that bombed. That. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought I remembered it.
it.
Some super chats here. First one here says, any truth in the rumor that Van der Sar has been approached to be the replacement? There are big rumors that Van der Sar has been approached. There's nothing else outside of that. So what you've read online is all there is right now. But I do hope and pray that Edwin Van der Sar could be coming back to save Man United again. Excuse the pun. That would be great. The reason why everyone speaks about the World Cup for Arsenal is because of squad depth. It's an amazing starting 11, but that's not a lot past it.
It's a myth that other teams have all this depth. Everybody was saying that Spurs had all this depth. All it really took was Kulusevski's injury, and all of a sudden they weren't looking the same. It's a myth. Beyond Manchester City, nobody has this crazy 25-man depth. Like, it's just, that's not how it is.
Everybody got Ronaldo on the bench. Have some respect.
You guys gotta have, okay, maybe Man United has that level of depth, but I think it's, and we also have played without, people don't watch our games. We've played without Thomas Partey this season. We played without Zinchenko. We have rotated. Like, it's a myth, but I get where it's just anything. It's like, but what about the depth?
And even here, like Dennis here says, Arsenal having only 5 or 6 guaranteed international starters, and also when England dumped Brazil out in the last 16, right? He'll be coming back, and then
I want Neymar to lob Ramsdale from 40 yards. Like,
oh my God,
Seaman did.
It's gonna be Pickford. I hope Ramsdale doesn't play a single minute.
The Brazilian over there in the corner. Not only the World Cup, but we're in a country where the conditions will be a factor if playing in a dome. If your player plays for a country that goes deep, it's going to be interesting to see the recovery. And but equally, it could go the other way. It could all go the other way. I mean,
if Brazil win it and Jesus comes back on a mad thing,
he
might be scoring more goals than Nunes.
But yeah, what if Haaland gets injured and KDB comes back feeling very down in the dumps because Belgium, I assume they're going, like they have an absolute stinker and he's just sad and his little ginger head zoomed down. Come on, you have to apply the same logic. But Pricey, I appreciate the super chat. Arsenal are winning the league. City, who is what James Adams says here.
This is so
Jess, that's proper chest.
Yeah.
The league would be insane, but top 4 above Spurs would be a great season from an Arsenal fan.
No,
keep the Spurs part out of it. That's weak, man. You lot are bigger than that.
If Arsenal strengthen in January, there's no reason we can't win the Europa and win the league. Elite mentality building this year, back to being
we're not winning both, y'all.
Come on, you Gooners. Arsenal fan here. This is what happens when players get too much power. I'll talk about Ronaldo here, I believe. At Arsenal, we've seen with Ozil and Aubameyang, sometimes people forget football is a team game. Why Arsenal was doing well is because it's there's no I in team. But according to Ronaldo, there is a me. there is a me. This comment from Dinesh here who says, "Evening, Terry. Liverpool were the last team in 2019-20 to win the first 10 games and went on to win the Premier League. So Arsenal can win the Premier League," is what my guy Dinesh says here. This super chat says, "You guys don't understand that the Kroenke's team in America has won titles and their focus is on Arsenal. So I believe they will spend in January. Yeehaw!
Let's go Rams!"
Didn't the Glazers win with the Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with the price of cheese?
That was what Ronaldo he said there. Listen, people, keep smashing that like and share button. As I said at the top of the show, we are sponsored by NordVPN today. Not only can you protect your identity and data, such as your card details, mother's maiden name, protect yourself from hackers and all types of manner online, you can also use it to get great discounts on things like Disney Plus, Premier League football, and much, much more. It's a lot cheaper to stream football from countries such as Moldova, even America, and other places around the world. Get it downloaded and drop me a DM for more information. But via Setanta Sports in Moldova, I am currently watching all Premier League, including 3 o'clock games, completely and utterly legally for £2.99 per month. Scan that QR code that's just below my finger. I'm gonna touch it there, right there. I went too far because there's a delay on that. I didn't realize. Get that QR code scanned or click on the link in the description below and get yourself signed up. But this weekend, there's another big one. Chelsea versus Manchester United at Stamford Bridge. Question is, Neeks, should Chelsea be scared?
Listen, Rashford's done a number on Chelsea a few times, actually. I remember I did a watch along with HH a few years ago. And Rashford dunked on you. Like, it went tits up after that for us.
Was this before or after the MBE?
This was before.
Okay.
Pre-MBE Rashford.
So we're going to be getting post-MBE Rashford.
Well, listen, and he did that free kick as well. That was mid MBE. That's when he was feeding the kids and all that. But obviously, Rashford's going to be starting. There's no Martial. That's a loss. Obviously, we know Ronaldo's not going to be playing. So the options, especially up front, are a bit limited. You got Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, and not much more after that. You're going for Anthony Elanga off the bench after that. But it's going to be interesting to see what midfield he goes with. Obviously, Fred was brilliant midweek against Spurs with Casemiro in the middle. We're not going to play the same way. Chelsea aren't even going to allow us to play the same way that we did against Spurs, because they're just better than Spurs. They were more well-drilled on the ball in that way. So is he going to go with Fred? Is he going to go with Eriksen? That's, I guess, the big question. Everything else is pretty much settled in that department. My only issue, my fear, actually, I'm the one who's scared, is Stamford Bridge. We never seem to get results at Stamford Bridge. I remember we had 1-1, 2-0, Pogba scored a diving header. But outside of that, post like 2011, when Giggs like dunked to you like 3 games in a row, Champions League, Premier League, we don't get results at Stamford Bridge. We don't get decisions at Stamford Bridge. Remember when Callum Hudson-Odoi was juggling the ball in the area? You remember that one? Man started doing a little drunken master thing and no penalty. I remember when Jose was there, Martial scored 2 goals, we're winning the game. I think it was like Barkley or Luis scores in the 94th minute. Then man, it was Barkley. Barkley ain't scored since. Like, it's just madness. When we go to Stamford Bridge, it's so difficult. And because of that, I can't be confident. I was confident beating Spurs because we always beat Spurs, especially at Old Trafford. That Stamford Bridge game, the pitch is tight, the stadium's tight. Potter's weaving some magic. Graham's decent as well. And I just think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be tough. Like, if we come out with a draw, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah, I'm slightly worried, because my thing is, at least I can get rid of my worst fear. My worst fear is that egotistical clown doing the Sue at the bridge. So hopefully that won't be happening.
Yeah, he ain't playing.
So I think because United are like so attacking, I think it's actually going to be like a very like end-to-end game. And for me, it's like it's a tough one to call, because I really feel like if it's going to be end-to-end, whether that leads to many goals, I don't know. So it's really about dealing with the movements of United, because they couldn't go with a false 9. But here's the thing, though, because I think he's going to go with a back 3 and with the wing backs as well, I think United will find it a lot more difficult to really get through that back 3. Because I think that for Tottenham, really, Romero's the only guy that can defend. But so now you didn't have to deal with Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, and so forth. But my thing, though, is, if Aubameyang and the Link can just...
Sterling.
The link. So basically, if the link, yin yang,
what?
can just sort of just like conjure up a little something, and Vitch in the middle can just sort of sort things out.
See, this is the issue, because Chelsea have Aubameyang. But you have Aubameyang who is clinical.
Yes,
we're not clinical at the moment. We're creating a lot of chances. We're having a lot of shots, and we're not finishing them off. We had 19 shots in the first half against Spurs, and it was 0-0. So I'm sitting there worried that one counter-attack with 1-0 down. Ammonia, we had 30-odd shots before McTominay scores in the 95th minute. In the last few games, I'm trying to remember now. So Newcastle, we didn't score. And Fred missed a chance, Rashford missed a chance. McTominay scores against Ammonia. 2 midfielders score against Spurs. Our forwards, Anthony's done well, but our forwards are missing chances or not scoring the goals and that's what you rely on. You can't rely on your midfielders to always pop up. So whereas I think if Chelsea get one chance, or Aubameyang specifically, more so than Sterling,
also Nick as well. Like
he's going to take it.
Wait, I know that your manager used to mess with the time, Fergie time and so forth.
Yeah.
Why is he messing with the Premier League table? How are you 1 point behind Chelsea?
Because
that table is a lie.
That good.
That table is a lie.
But you're not in that good.
That table
you're
is a lie.
overestimating how good Chelsea are.
You didn't even start. You didn't start well. So
nah.
You didn't. You didn't.
Yes, sir.
Right now, Chelsea are where they are now.
Potter ball. Yep.
A lot of it is due to Kepa, your goalkeeper. So what does that say about Chelsea?
About your defense, your back 3.
Wait,
that's a great question. Just in case the viewers didn't hear it, because obviously KJ's not mic'd up. He's asked have hope. Are Chelsea winning these games because of Kepa at the moment? And is he not concerned that his goalie's having to make top class saves game in, game out?
Yeah, are you concerned?
I think the envy from rival fans, I find it very saddening. Kepa has had one game that he saved, which is against Brentford.
Villa?
Villa, come on.
Villa! He was making... Come on.
Yeah, he made a few saves here and there and so forth, but that was not a big deal. Against Milan, we put a clinic on Milan twice. We gave them the double flex
Tomori
in England
taps,
and in
straight
Milan.
attack.
If Milan were in the Premier League, though, they would listen.
Don't we below Liverpool?
No, no.
Milan were in the Premier League.
Here's my thing right here.
They were bad.
No. Okay, I don't want to jinx anything with Chelsea and United right now. I respect what United are doing and everything, but with all due disrespect, Bruno Fernandes, man. I mean, come on, bro. Like Chelsea should be.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. What do you mean,
You know
Bruno Fernandes? What are you talking about my Bruno for? What are you saying?
It's Bruni.
No,
What's going on?
Bruni, Fernie, Nandes, Des. I don't rate the freaking dude, man.
You
No,
just
no,
guaranteed that he's going to score against Chelsea. You just guaranteed that right now.
Sorry, he's going up against Bali and the Sill.
Not Bali in the Sill.
The Seal. Explain why he's the Seal.
Thiago Silva, the Sill.
The Seal. Right.
Seal.
Sorry, I get that now.
If Bruni or Nandes gets one goal, I'll be shocked. Sorry, I will be, because again, I don't want to jinx things. Chelsea should keep a clean sheet.
Who's your midfield? You ain't got Kante's cropped.
Basically,
Kovacic
Mount
and Jorginho.
Lubin softest cheek.
Mount Kilimanjaro. He's going to be moving. He's going to be roaming.
Mount.
He's going to be roaming like.
Oh, now you're rating Mount. This guy's clutching. You are clutching.
Mount, no.
Clutching.
He deserves no. Mount owes me a big game. So Mount, I'm still on the side of Mount, but he owes me a big game. But let's be real here. It's at the bridge. We speak fluent CL. We speak fluent trophy. We're still the legitimate defending UCL champs because you can't win the UCL without away goals. So I expect Chelsea to do a number on United and get the win. I'm not saying that we're definitely going to do the win because I know that I can jinx the whole team, but I'm saying to myself that as much as United have looked good, that false line is not going to penetrate the great wall of Chelsea.
Okay,
No.
well, if Aston Villa and Brentford were on you, I think Manchester United can do a number on you. I mean, you have to look at the games for what they were. If you actually watch the games, your defense was getting, I mean, you weren't
Sliced
Swiss
and
cheese.
diced.
You weren't Swiss
wait.
cheese, but you were close to it. You know,
We put through.
But Manchester United are all about, like you said, attack. And I think you look at their attackers, they'll get something out of it. Like Anthony, I think, has looked really good.
And again, looking
Yeah.
better.
He is a slave to that left foot, but you know, he's looked really, really good. And so I think it's going to be a really difficult game. I feel like Manchester United might get the win.
And Varane and Martinez can't be sniffed at.
And-
these two
and
are
can I-
on show.
And can I
I
tell
haven't
you?
been so gassed about defensive partnership.
Can I tell you something about that though? Aubameyang does not, and I know this, does not like playing against like good center backs that can actually put their body. He does not like that. If Varane and Lisandro Martinez get on him, he won't do anything.
Why are you saying facts? What do you mean by
It
facts?
is facts.
He doesn't
This
like
is
it.
facts.
Against Van Dijk, he struggled.
Yeah.
I'm talking from a Liverpool.
Okay, based on all everyone is saying, because I think, look, I feel there's a lot of envy in this room, and I feel like
Of
if
what?
I'm being attacked,
You sound like the great late Darius Dinesh. I feel a lot of love and energy in this room, but the opposite. I feel a lot of envy
feel a lot
in
of
this
hate
room.
here and so forth, because I just feel like if Chelsea are playing, like, with all due disrespect to United and so forth, Chelsea are playing at home. And I think that with the fact of Chelsea playing at home, I just think that they'll have that slight advantage and that slight edge. Look, I can't come out and fully say that Chelsea will definitely win, hence why I am going towards either a Chelsea win or a draw. So, because United are definitely not winning, no way. Like, I don't see United beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, no way, no chance. So if I'm being fair here, this feels like a 2-2. I think they're going to be goals. It's going to be enter, and it's going to be pretty much open. So it could be flex between 2-2 or like a 3-2.
What about Reece James not being there? Do you think that will have
That's a huge
big
thing.
impact?
Huge thing for Manchester United. I mean, you've got Chalobah's kind of a strange one. I don't rate him that highly. I don't look at Chalobah and think you could be
He's
one.
never lost a game.
I was going to say, I don't watch him play and think you're one of the best centre backs in the league, but he's never started a game and been on the losing side. That's a good thing. But Loftus-Cheek as the right wing back, United have got to try and exploit that. That's an area because Reece James is the best right back in the Premier League, hands down for me, especially this season, and defensively as well. You've got to try and exploit that. You've got to. That and the middle of the park, the midfield, they don't have, for the first time in since the Roman era, Chelsea don't have a world-class sort of defensive-minded midfielder. They've always had one. And I think you've got to exploit those two areas, their midfield and that right-hand side. That's what United got to attack and try and exploit.
But I think the thing with the right-hand side is that because we play a back three, you can't really expose it. If it was a back four, then yes. But because it's a back three, even if you go at him, it's going to be Aspilicueta who's going to come in and try to now make up for that space. So the difficulty is that it's very hard to break Chelsea down because of that back three. And which is why, again, with any formation, there's an advantage and a disadvantage. Like the issue with Brentford, I felt that, yes, Brentford are having a few opportunities, but it's hard for them to really fully create good chance because of the back three. I actually would have said, Potter, take a risk, take out one of these defenders, put in another attacking player, and actually go for the win.
I dare you to do that.
But would you not?
I dare you to take out a defender.
Mix the way you're talking, because you're talking slick. You're talking slick. The way you're talking, man, I'm going to just say you're grand, man. 4-3-3, what's up? Let's
But
take it
quick
on
one,
4-3-3.
yeah. Quick, would you not say that playing the back three actually makes you vulnerable against the three that United would play? Because if you looked at what Brentford did, when Koulibaly was running towards his goal, he was struggling against Brentford. And when there's space in behind, like, do you know what I mean? Rashford pacing behind is like key to him. It's key. That's what he wants.
Okay, JJ, like maybe like you didn't hear what I was saying. JJ, I speak fluent CL and I speak fluent trophy. So you want me to change my defense for? No. I want you to say it. No, I want you to say it to me in my face. Say to me that I should change my defense for some
Not
good
change your
Bruno.
defense, but I'm saying that
We're
talking about the wing backs. We're talking about the wing backs going forward. Of course, at five in the back, if they sit deep, yes, it's difficult to penetrate. But if the wing backs push high, as Reece James does and as Chilwell or Cucurella does, there is space. There are gaps to go in.
JJ is right, because when Koulibaly was pulled out towards that touchline, he was getting toasted. He was getting beat.
JJ is wrong.
JJ is right.
I'm not wrong.
He's right.
No,
Yeah.
my thing is that, you can change tactics. My thing is, okay, go with the back three. Let's see how things are going. United, okay, boom, boom, it's fine. No, it's like a dance. Boom, boom, boom. It's a slow dance. Then we switch to the La Cucaracha and so forth. So we now go with the salsa in the second half. So basically, first half is like, that's in the 50s or whatever. Second half, we take them for the salsa. 4-3-3, we go all out. So, JJ, we're building a picture here. We can't just give them the whole 4-3-3. We'll give them the back three. First half, feel how they're feeling. Second half.
Do you think Chelsea would be a bit more kind of defensively, like they will sit back a bit more as opposed to being all out ball as you wanted to talk about?
That's gonna be my question.
Ball's front foot, isn't it?
That's a great question. Who's going to be the aggressor in this game? Like, is it going to be Man United having more of the ball, as we've seen in the last few matches, or will we be the counter-attacking side at Stamford Bridge?
I don't think Man United have to be, because they won and Chelsea did not. Chelsea is at home, and you didn't beat Brentford like you were supposed to, and you rotated. That's what Potter did. He tried to play his second team, and it didn't work. Man United at home beat Spurs. I don't think they're under any pressure to have to go out there and try to. I mean, they want to win, but it's really on Chelsea, is it?
But my fear though is, I think for Potter, I feel he should attack United, but I think because Potter sees the United name, he'll feel like it's Man United and we have to sort of still respect Man United. So my thing is that I just don't know what Potter is thinking.
It's interesting because this is his first big test. Obviously, the AC Milan was important because I think you were kind of struggling.
Yeah.
You had to get those results.
Red card, obviously, just
but this Premier League, his first big game in the Premier League. There's always going to be question marks about him because he hasn't managed at this level before. So I think there's going to be that dilemma in his head. Do I go for it and then we're going to play my style because I'm going to prove that what I did at Brighton's going to work here and I'm going to prove it straight away? Or do I say, let me get the result, let me make sure we're still in fourth place at the end of this game? Now, Ten Hag, you said we don't have to go for the game, Jess, and I agree we don't, but I just hope that the game against Spurs doesn't make us too complacent and think we're ready now. We're ready to play Ten Hag ball 100%. Every game is going to work, because we went on that 4-game run just before Man City and we were so open. We played the Man City game like we were 3 years into Ten Hag and we were the best team in the league and we can go toe to toe. We were so open.
So you're saying set up how United did against Liverpool, where you're a bit more, maybe not as defensive as that, but like if I saw Fred in the midfield instead of Eriksen, I would know that Ten Hag's thinking a bit more conservative, saying we're getting there, but we're not there yet. Because I think that's where we are. So
it's certainly going to be intriguing. I don't want to. The thing is, Stamford Bridge has been probably the worst ground for Man United in Premier League history. It feels that way Anfield's probably somewhere up there as well. So even when Chelsea weren't a very good team, I never used to like us going there and trying to attack them. They would always find a way to beat us in that way. I don't know. I would kind of be happy for us to try and absorb, Graham Potter's style and his players, and then look to counter that ball over the top. Rashford on. I mean, you got to look at it. I probably wouldn't start. I would even maybe look at someone like a Lang. If we're going to play like that, a Langer maybe starting on one side, Rashford on the other, Rashford through the middle still, and then Anthony. Then you've got 3 quick players that can help you. It's certainly going to be interesting. I'm going to go to some super chats in a minute. Actually, I'll do the super chats first, and then we're going to ask a question about this game. This is a member chat here from Jem, long time no see. He says, why are United not fearing Chelsea? Why is it one way here? Well, I don't think Chelsea, I'm asking the question from a point of view of, I'm asking that question from the point of view of, are Chelsea worried about this Man United team coming? And the reason I say that is Chelsea were considered top 4 contenders, shoo-in for top 4. They still are. Man United were looked at as a team that were absolutely finished and falling apart. Is Man United's recent form something that puts fear into Chelsea? I know Man United fans are scared of going to Stamford Bridge. Some won't say it publicly or on Twitter or on here. They've got, no, you got to back your team. But no, Man United fans, even under Fergie, hated going to Stamford Bridge. I've been there maybe 7 or 8 times to the ground, and every time you're out there with the Reds in the pubs beforehand, and everyone's nervous about that game. So that's why I asked the question that way round.
The other part of it is we've seen Man United do really well in 3 big games this season already.
Yeah.
Chelsea, who have they played? Big teams this season.
Spurs. And in fairness, that was their best performance probably as well, ironically.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm looking at Man United a little bit differently. They played 3 big teams, and they've done really well in all of them.
I agree. This super chat here says, Terry, I can admit as an Arsenal fan, we enjoy when you stick your bum out for us in every video. Don't be afraid to admit your true club. I'm just very unbiased, my friend. That's all it is. But I do actually have a resoundingly nice piece of back off. It's true. I do. I've been very, very blessed in the backside department. So, and that's even when I don't go gym for months, it's there. It doesn't disappear. Have hope knows. That's why he's smiling. Confident about this every try.
Kitty don't laugh to laugh.
That's why they're on first name. That's why they're on first name terms.
Yeah.
Sebastian, Terence,
Sebastian and Terence, the adventures of. Confident about this every time we drop against United. They were in poor form. Now we're in good form. So I'm feeling good. And Potter has beaten Ten Hag.
He did.
Every time is what Nathaniel says. Top man, Nathaniel. Thank you. Calm down and count down to St. Tottingham's Day is what Gunners Forever has got to say. Liverpool fan here says, if Arsenal can't win the title with the start they've had, the banter about is about to get crazy. And if they don't make the top 4, AFTV will be the place to be. Well, of course, after you've been on the terrace, always love my guy Robbie, but always come here. Listen, if they were to fall out the top 4 from this point, Arsenal, I think it would be the biggest amount of banter in the history of social media content creation.
And Arteta would have to be sacked. Then on the bus to travel back with the team whilst he's been sacked, even if they're playing at home.
You know what they've got to do?
Bus.
If it happens and he gets sacked, they need to make a documentary on Netflix, right? Arteta, Gerrard, Lampard, Ollie. They've got to do they you know what's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith. She has the Red Table podcast. They've got to start a podcast. Yeah, just those 4 and sit there and talk. Man United or Chelsea, who finishes higher? We'll come back to that because that was actually going to be my question. I didn't know we had a super chat. Similar question. As a Liverpool fan, I hate to see it. United will slap Chelsea. It's funny how Have Hope, HH, says he speaks CL to Liverpool and United fans. Very sad. Get out of here. And back to the super chat. Who will finish higher? I was going to kind of question this along the lines of Man United win this game. Should Man United fans have to start talking about or considering United as top 4 contenders?
I think a lot of Man United fans are already considering it, first and foremost. I did last week. I said, I think with the way that Liverpool started, there's a space open. I had Chelsea 5th, Man United 6th. But I wasn't saying we're going to be 10 points behind Chelsea. I expect us to, we had 58 points last year. I expect us to be at least 10 points better, which is 68, which isn't far off top 4. So if we end up at 68 in 6th, Chelsea's outside the top 4, I expect us to be close. Therefore, if there's a space open and Chelsea can get it, I think we need to be there to pick up the pieces. Chelsea, remember, Chelsea sacked Tuchel this season. Like, it happened, guys. Like, things are not rosy. Everything's not perfect. You're good.
The roses are smelling really good.
They
it's all good. It's all good.
Stink. But so I think Chelsea for me are not guaranteed. I didn't have them in top 4 in the first place, so they're definitely not guaranteed top 4. I think Chelsea have as much chance as Man United getting top 4, maybe slightly more. But if we win on Saturday and we go above you, those thorns in those roses are going to start pricking. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Just.
I mean, yeah, if Man United beat Chelsea, I think, yeah, you start really taking them seriously as a top 4 contender. I mean, I think it's going to be really tight between everybody plus Newcastle.
Oh, you think Newcastle?
Yeah, Newcastle beat Spurs.
Well, we haven't even spoke about that because I've banned myself from a few weeks from talking about Tottenham.
But the thing about Newcastle is if you look at their form, they've been one of the most informed teams since Eddie Howe has come in.
Yeah.
So for me, I think you have to count them as one of the teams that are like in and around there. And that's what I'm saying. Like these points away from home to your rivals are going to actually really count this time around, I think. And so I think if Man United get anything from this match, I'm already kind of considering it. I think them and Chelsea are kind of in the same boat, but it's something about Man United when they get confidence, they're different than any other team. When they catch that confidence, there's nothing, you can't say anything.
Well, the thing is, the last 3 games, of course, Ammonia is hard to judge against. We battered them. Their goalkeeper was just, and afterwards, when you find out he's a United fan, the pictures he took, the interview, yeah, I mean, he did that. I mean, his ability helped him, but it's his
God-given ability.
Yeah, God-given ability. Yeah, that one. I think for me, like, I was kind of, because he won, I was happy for him, but we battered him in that game chance-wise. Newcastle was an interesting one because they started off well and we really come into our own. Spurs, we surprised me. But if we could get a similar performance against Chelsea and win, and then maybe go win a couple more after that, I'm going to do a bit of a JJ here and say, then maybe I'll start to believe, because what I don't want is to have 2 or 3 good games. You go, oh, maybe we've already integrated with Ten Hag, and then it falls apart again. I just don't. Once we got it, we did this with LAG. We beat, I don't remember which order now, but I think we beat Spurs, City, and then Liverpool in the space of 4 games. And it was the best performance I've ever seen from Man United at Anfield, including Fergie's era. Wanfield. Yeah, with the overhead kick. And I remember I did a match reaction after that, and I said, I feel like the handbrake's finally come off. I think we're there. And because it was 4 games against big teams, we all thought this is going to work. And then we played Chelsea about 2 weeks later. They hammered us. And it fell off again. So I'm just reluctant yet to get too carried away. But there's certainly a chance that United, if they keep improving and no one's run away, and everyone else doesn't run away from us, if we're there or thereabouts, why not?
Spurs are shaky, Liverpool are shaky, and I think Chelsea are shaky. I think the top 4 race is open.
It is.
Against top 6, sorry. It's 3 wins and 1 loss, and this is their last game of the first split.
Yeah, so after this game, we would have played all the top. No.
The only disadvantage is that means we've got to play, barring Chelsea, we have to go away to everybody.
Man City home.
Oh, Man City, yeah.
Home,
got Man City home, Chelsea away. Got to go away to Arsenal and Liverpool. That's really difficult. But look, who knows? You know, again, the irony in it is people keep saying that if Spurs and Arsenal get injuries, what's going to happen? Well, that does happen, and they do fall off. Again, there's an opportunity. But I think Man United, I don't want the club being put under that pressure. I'm not even going to lie. I'm being shameless about it. I'm liking the fact that we're still being written off. And that's nice.
Get carried away. Get carried away.
That's one of those really bad American football chants, isn't it? Like, I remember
baseball chants.
Yeah, I remember going to a game in the States. United were playing, and I remember it was with a couple of like diehard Reds, and the American United fans they got a chant going, and it was so embarrassing. It was funny. It was just, let's go United, let's go. And that was it. And they were all having, we were all looking at each other like, this is mad. This is what would happen if we just allowed the tourists to buy all the tickets. Trust me, BT Sports would make, and Sky would make the Glazers sell.
That would be the Super League chart.
Yeah. It'd be crazy. Terry, United never played a fully fit Chelsea without injuries.
Wow.
I mean,
Whatever in our history or what?
Yeah, I don't
what
know.
we saying there? What's going on?
I mean, I would.
He's preaching. He's
I would-
preaching.
But you've got injuries now, so we're
got
going to win.
injuries.
We're going to win because
Ronaldo counts as an injury.
Basically.
You know what I mean? We still got Phil
Stick it
Jones.
there.
We still got Phil Jones in our squad. Come on now, these things happen. But there we go. Score predictions: Neeks, Man United, Chelsea.
1-1.
Oh.
I'm going 1-1.
JJ.
I'm going 2-1 United.
You see, you're just doing that. Just
I'm not going 2-1 United.
oh, no.
Have hope. Wait,
Potter hasn't faced anyone of note. Yeah, this is the biggest challenge. If he gets through it, yeah, cool.
JJ, I don't
But
care
right
about
now-
your analysis, man. You're just you're the
You don't
You're
care
the
about it because it's hurting. But it's cool.
You're the ops, man. And also, you cheated for those 2 finals last year. You cheated. For those
it's
2
done.
finals.
It's
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
Them ones. What are you saying, Have hope? What's your prediction, bro?
Ladies first.
Yeah, hey, James, go on.
Well, I'm going 2-1 United. I think you guys are going to fail the Rashford test. I think he's going to run straight through Koulibaly and them. And Sil, or whoever.
So basically, so just to be clear here, I hate JJ and I hate Jess. Both beginning with J, so obviously it makes sense.
Where's Javern?
All right, I'm gonna go with So
With
half,
Chess?
No. Half hope. Go with it because I know what my heart says. But since I'm on the terrace and I respect Terence, long-time colleague, and I see him as a friend, I'm gonna go with my head here, and I'm gonna say 2-2, an exciting 2-2 draw.
I'll take that. We need goals. I just want goals, man.
I need somebody to lose.
I am going for 3-1. And to who will be revealed in my preview tomorrow morning on the football terrace. So make sure you're tuning into that. 3-1 to someone will be my prediction. So make sure you're tuning in tomorrow morning for that. Listen, viewers, I really appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you go and download the NordVPN. Go onto the NordVPN website by scanning that QR code and get yourself signed up. Very important to protect yourselves. So many of you did it over the last 2 weeks, which is amazing. I know some of you have had some questions about things. Fire them into me, and I'll keep sending them back into the team at Nord. They're absolutely brilliant, but make sure you protect yourself. As I said already, there are a number of services that you can get football cheaper, Netflix cheaper, YouTube Premium cheaper as well. So if you don't want sort of adverts, or if you want to be able to like download content so you can listen to it on the trains, I changed my VPN to Argentina, and it's literally 79p a month for YouTube Premium rather than 11.99. So there's many things you can do by using it, and just do a bit of your own research as well. Hotels much cheaper. I always put my location to say that I'm in Turkey for like English hotels. It's about 30-40% off, and hotel prices are expensive right now. So use a VPN to benefit yourself financially. Listen, I'm doing more financially for you than our government. That's what I'm saying here. Do you know what I mean?
Shut up and Liz.
That's what I'm saying. I should be the prime minister. How much money I'm saving you all. So get it done and get it downloaded right about now. Honestly, Neeks, JJ, pleasure to have you in the studio today. Jess and Have Hope also. Big up to KJ over there covering for Javern today as well. But you, the viewers, you're the absolute best to all my subscribers, members, super chatters, and viewers. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.